Hey y'all, the Lorcana grinder here. It is Raven and Raven alone today. I will be doing a deck profile of my Stitch Turbo deck. Obviously going to be played different by me than others, but I just want to give you guys a little peek at what I have in my deck and play quite often. So we're going to start with pretty much the least important cards to me, starting with Wayward Sorcerer Mickey Mouse. He just kind of, sends gameplay along. We only play one of him. He's good when you want to focus on Broom cards, which you'll see later in the deck profile. I only play a couple, mostly for Inkwell. This Mickey Mouse I normally use for Inkwell as well. Next we are going to have Elsa. She exerts an opposing character. She is, again, just a way to kind of keep gameplay going. If I'm not seeing Stitch, it doesn't affect my Stitch gameplay when I'm playing her. It just kind of moves things along. God forbid I don't see it. Next would be 3 of Maleficent sorceresses. When you play this character, you may draw a card. I've got 3. She's a 3-drop, so it's not super horrible, and you get a card every time. 3 of hers, just a pretty good ratio compared to the rest of my deck. Gives you a chance to see things without having to wait to draw for turn. Dr. Facilier, I will be playing 3 of him. He gains 2 attack whenever he's challenged, whenever he challenges, I believe. He's a 2-drop. He's good for Stitch combo when you're putting down 2 or less and then getting to draw your card. Next is a couple effect cards, Friends on the Other Side, which is just draw 2 cards. There are 4 of those in my deck. That gives me a 66.49% chance seeing one of these every 14 cards. Decent ratios. Again, keeps the game going, keeps resources in your hands. Really good for gameplay. Next is 4 Be Our Guests. You get to look at the top 4 cards in your deck. You reveal the character that you choose and bring him into your hand. Again, another really good way of getting resources in your hand, especially if I get Stitch out. I like to make sure that I'm picking 2 less cards so that I can draw a card next turn, same turn, and just continue comboing from there, get as much lore as I can. Speaking of lore, my next character is Pascal. As we all love to see, Pascal pass, specifically since this game started being played. I play 4. Always hope to see him in my initial hand. If not, pretty much return all of my cards in the mulligan and try again. He is super free right now. Obviously there are other cards with evasion that can kill him currently, but odds are pretty slim right now. Only thing that can kill him is another Pascal and about 2 or 3 other character cards. Again, not coming across it too often right now. Up next is Yzma. Yzma is 2-drop, so again, fantastic for when Stitch comes out into the field. She also lets you look at the top card of your deck after she quests. And you get to keep it on the top or put it on the bottom. So that's really good for like knowing what your next gameplay is, or knowing that that's not the next thing that you're going to be drawing, which again, super helpful. Up next is Maleficent. She is a 1-drop. She, again, is absolutely fantastic. She is a 1-drop. Unfortunately, you can't put her in Inkwell, but she gains you 2 lore. She is definitely a card I would like to see in my hand when I initially start the game. Actually, probably more than Pascal, because if you put her down first turn and she has that summoned illness, you can't quest her right away, but your opposing teammate or your opposing player is unable to kill her right away. So you get those 2 free lore first time able to quest your cards. Again, she's just really good to have, especially 4 of her. So if you are lucky and you see her just enough, that's 2, 4, 6, 8 lore right there. Up next is going to be LeFou. As you know, my partner is completely unable to say that name. We play 4 of him. We're kind of getting into our 2-drop inkwells more or less. I use them for LeFou right now because I don't play any Gaston characters. He is strictly for inkwell or for the 2 lore if I'm lucky. 9 times out of 10, I'm sure he'd probably get killed right off the bat if possible. The higher lores obviously are going to get aimed for first, especially if I do quest them, which commonly you're going to because of how much it gains. Along with Minnie Mouse, she, again, is just a 2-drop for Mickey. She is absolutely fantastic for inkwell as well. It's really important that, you know, I play a lot of cards that have enough inkwell for me to get things out as much as possible on my turns, so that when questing the following turn, I have less worry about my characters getting killed because, you know, I always have that choice to just get more and more out. Up next is Hey Hey, the chicken, the wonderful dumb chicken. He, again, 1-drop. He's just really, really good to play with Stitch. I really enjoy my lower level cards just because it's a lot easier to, you know, get all of them out on the field at once, especially with Stitch out on the field. It's been working out okay for me. As we know, we've seen in past videos, I am not the greatest at playing yet, but I am getting better as I keep playing this deck specifically, learning a lot of the different ways I can play. Next is Magic Broom. 2-drop, again, this is where this Mickey Mouse comes into play. You're able to return them if they're in the graveyard or banished within the game and put them back into your hand, which is really helpful if you, I don't know, for some reason have it on the field. I'm not really one to put it on the field, but it is really good when you do play this card. You may shuffle a card from any discard into the player's deck, which means you can choose your own or the opposing player if you're worried that they have a card. It's really good when you're trying to work around any cards that allow them to bring things back from banished into their hand, giving them a better advantage. So there's always that option. We're just going to set them aside here so I have space for the other cards. Up next is my wonderful Olaf. Olaf is kind of, again, just another way of getting inkwell, getting that 1-drop, getting 1 lore. If you're lucky, you have a lot of these cards within your hand when Stitch is out on the field, because then you're able to play quite a bit of cards down, leading to a really good stance in gaining lore. I'm going to set aside some of these 1-drops now so we can leave space for the next couple of cards that I have coming out. I'm very excited for the next couple. The next couple are really, really important when it comes to playing this deck. So clearly Stitch will be coming out very shortly. Because we know how much I love playing him, even though I hardly see him right now. Just very unlucky draws in the past couple matches I've had, unfortunately. Before I start with that, again, these cards are just really, really good when it comes to playing Stitch, because once you get Stitch on the field, which I haven't come across it quite often, unfortunately in some decks you are able to have the ones that do like certain amount of damages that allow you to take Stitch off the field without even having him quested. Unfortunately, I have come across that in a couple matches if you've watched a couple videos, which has definitely been brutal. Alright, so my most important cards coming out are going to be the Lantern. The Lantern is essentially free inkwell. So once you're able to get that out on the field, you tap him once, he's worth 1, it's worth 1 inkwell. I'd be able to drop someone like Olaf for free, which leaves my entire inkwell open for other cards to be played. Really, really important. Really, really been helpful while playing this game. Luckily, I have 4. Haven't really seen more than 2 in a game, which still, again, huge, huge help, especially when trying to get those less cards, those less drop cards out, like the 1s and 2s. Next most important is the smaller version of Rockstar Stitch. He is only a 1-drop, and then once he is down on the field, you are able to drop Rockstar Stitch for 4 Inkwell rather than the 6 that he's worth. It's called a shift, and it's been helping me out very, very much. Once you get him on the field, every time you place down a character with 2 costs or less, you get to draw a card. Again, super, super, super helpful. With all of these 1-drop cards that I have and 2-drop cards that I have, I am able to have a lot to work with when it comes to putting them out on my field. Unfortunately, once in a while, because of how aggressively I do play, I end up top decking a lot of cards. So if I'm lucky and I do, say, top deck, you know, a 1-drop, a 2-drop, I always have that chance to draw another one and keep the game going for myself on my side of the playing table. Again, just really, really, really important. That's about it. Obviously, it's still definitely a work in progress. Looking to, you know, alter, adjust, and as we do, of course, you guys will know what changes. And hopefully we can get some deck profiles of the other decks that we're playing, like the Mommy deck that I have also come quite fond of. Definitely still a work in progress, but doing our best. Thanks so much for watching.